Okay. All right. Let's look at a couple of little extra things, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start putting some railings on. I'm going to go back to my street level, and obviously, I can see that I have a couple of gaps in this area. So, I can go in here and adjust um, my floor if I want to. I can go to edit boundary. And what I could do in this instance is, I can kind of pull this, and we'll see if I can get this to work properly. Right. So in this instance now, right, I can delete that, and I can draw another boundary line here. Right. Um, and I need also another line in here. And then I've got to go down here and see where I've got that corner. I'm going to have to adjust my sub element again, right? And it says some shape elements were deleted because of that. And if I go to a 3D view, I can kind of look here and see that, I've got that going on there. So I'm okay for the most part. If I go to a top view, you can see I don't see that gap. Where I'm going to see that gap is in my front view a little bit, but you can see how the sub elements have sort of adjusted themselves. In this instance, well, let me back up for a second. They didn't adjust themselves because I changed the shape of the floor and I edited a sub element. It's still looking to drop the floor at that area. In this instance here, you see I have some instances where I have gaps in here, and I could cover those up with things like masking regions. We talked about that before. If I go to component, and I'm sorry, if I go to region and say filled region, if I wanted to hide those in that view, I could go down here and say, I could go to a solid black region, and I could edit the type, and I could say, let's duplicate this and make it solid gray. Whoops. All right. And then I can come in here and go to that solid gray color, right? And I say okay. And I could come in here where I have those gaps, and look what I can do. I can just draw a line from here to about here, back to here, and then come down again and finish that. And so that's kind of filled in, right? So I can fill in those gaps on that elevation if what I'm concerned about is them not showing up in that particular instance. No big deal for us. Let's go ahead and put on some ramps. Now, I'm sorry, some railings. I'm going to go over to architecture. I'm going to go to the railing, and I'm going to say sketch path. And in this instance, I'm just going to pick lines, right? I'm going to put, for my ramp, I'm going to pick this line here, and then I'm going to draw this in, right? So as I come to here, I'm going to put a railing here, and then I'm going to put a railing here, and then I'm going to put a railing here, and I'm going to draw it out to here. Now, Revit's going to squawk at me, and I just want you to remember that. I can't draw multiple sketches at once, right? So which was the harder one to draw? I'll delete that one, hit finish. Then I will come back, and I'm going to go to a hidden line view in this instance, right? And now I'm going to go back to my railing, sketch path, pick, click there, finish. And then I'm going to look in my 3D view, and I'm going to see where in the world are my railings. Oh, there they are. But are they? Oh, wait, they're going all the way through. So if you remember the other day, what was the command we used? If we click that railing, that and this railing, and say pick new host and pick our floor. Let's try that one more time. I'm going to grab that one, say pick new host. There, that moves. Grab that railing, say pick new host, and that moves up as well. All right. Now in this instance here, I could leave. I don't need railing anymore, but because that's a landing in a sense, if someone was coming up in a wheelchair and got to here, I might not want them to just fall right off there, right? So what would I probably do? I'd probably go back to this street level and I'd say, give me another railing and let's sketch it from approximately right here on this floor over to maybe about, let's call it here, right? Or if I want to be technical, I can say bring that over 10 feet. Finish. Same thing as before. Go to my 3D view. It's selected. Pick new host, right? And now I'm doing okay. So now I've got that protection up there for that person wheeling, and now they can turn that corner. Well, where do we go next? We want to go here, and we want to go up this ramp. So again, I can say railing, sketch path, pick, and I can pick that line and finish. And then I can go same thing again, railing, and then I can say pick, and I could pick that line and then say finish, go back to my 3D view, say pick new host, that floor, same thing with this railing if I can get to it. It's kind of hiding under there, isn't it? Pick new host, this floor, up it moves, and now I've got that ramp there. Now, as I get to the top, again, I probably don't want someone falling out. So what might I do? I'll probably go to where? My street level, and I know I've got a railing in here, but I can't see it. So what if I went to landing one floor plan? Up, there it is, right? Click on that and say edit path, and then I can stretch that up to here, finish. I can do the same thing here, right? Edit path, click that, pull it up to here, and hit finish, okay? Now, go back to a 3D view, and my railings are looking pretty good. I want to pause the video and talk about something briefly. So what we just discovered is if we selected that one and right-clicked and said, select all instances visible in view, right? What could we do here? We could go up here and say we want to use a glass panel bottom fill. And once we click on that, now we have really nice looking what? Nice looking railings, really attractive for our little outdoor space that we have. And now we're at a point where we could start deciding where we wanted some other railings. Now we have a handrail here. Let's go back to that street level and say, hey, I probably want a handrail from here up as well. So I'm going to go back in and go to railing, sketch path, and this time I'm going to go to glass panel bottom fill, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go all the way up just like that. Say finish, right? Where else might I want some railings? I definitely probably want a railing right up here, right? So again, I go to railing, sketch path, and I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to take this all the way up to here. See what that looks like in our 3D view. Up, what do we need to do? Select on this one, say pick new host, the stair. Same thing here, pick new host, the stair. Now we're okay, right? And we've got our railing. Now, of course, we would want our railing, and we would go about drawing this ourselves. We would draw an extension to this one, an extension to that one, or what could we do if we went to landing 2 plan and I clicked on this and said what? Edit path. I could come up here and stretch this. If this is 5'2", I'm going to make sure that it goes another what? 12 inches. So now it's going to be 6'2", right? Finish. Same here. If I click on this, edit path, and if I click on it and see that it's 3 foot, I can change that to 4 foot, right? But it went both directions. I don't want to do that. I could just go here and say, make sure that's 4 foot. And then at the bottom of this, I could say, I can take that to 5 foot. And that's true of all of our what? That's true of all of our railings. Okay, we can go and extend them all. I'm not going to force you to do that right now. I'd probably want a railing where? Right here. So if I go back to railing, sketch path, now watch, this one's going to be floating in the sky because of the way I drew this. All right, so I'm going to just connect this here, draw this down to here. I'm going to go to 4 foot. Then I will what? I won't extend. I'm going to draw another piece that other direction because I already have a railing here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. While that's there, I'll go back to my 3D view and say what? I want that to be on the actual stair, right? So I'll click there and say pick new host, and it flies down there. And now I've got a nice little project where I've integrated some steps for a person to sit on. And now I'm at the point where if I wanted to start going and inserting people, I could go to load family, and I could go down to entourage, and I can say, give me a woman, and we'll place a woman somewhere, right? We'll place a person, because then we start seeing scale in proportion. So I go to entourage, and there's a female in there, and let's see, I'll grab Yin Yin, right? And I'll put Yin Yin on the steps here, right? And when I go to a, let's place her not at the street level. Let's place her at landing 1, right? And then I'll just kind of move her over with my, right? Move her over there. And then if I change the view, I can see I've got a person in there now, right? Now, if I want all of this to match, last thing I have to do is go in and click on all my floors and say, select all instances visible in view, right? Those are those floors. Then I can select that floor, and this floor, and I can say multiple floor types selected. Can I do anything with those? No, I can't. I have to do them individually. So again, click this, and I can say select all instances visible in view, and I can go in here now and say edit type, and say for the material, right? What material do I want? If I go here by category, I can put in cast in place concrete. Once it comes over, concrete cast in place gray. And now that matches. The same is true here. Right click, select all instances visible in view. Same thing now. In this particular instance, I can go in and change that category, right? Cast in place gray. And now we have ourselves a project that kind of matches. So not perfect, doesn't need to be in this instance, but a nice attempt at combining circulation elements as a design element and not just a plain circulation element. We'll pick this back up in our building technology class and move on to curtain walls on Wednesday. I have spoken.